Welcome back, students. Today, we will continue solving SAT Practice Test 1 and we'll be doing a speedy go-through over the calculator section. Please use this video as a guide to review some concepts and learn how to swiftly solve questions. All right then, let's get into it. Question 1 asks for us to analyse the graph and find where it is strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing, which means that over that interval the graph first increases, then suddenly decreases. This is observed between 40 and 60, so our answer is B. Question 2 is about proportionality. We first need to find the constant of proportionality, or K. So we plug in the given values of x and y into the equation. This gives us K equals 4. Hence, our relation is y equals 4x. We now plug in x equals 5 to get y equals 20. So our answer is C. For question 3, we need to find angle 2 when angle 1 is given to be 35 degrees. So we work our way on the diagram. This angle will equal 35 degrees as it is opposite, or in geometric terms, vertical to angle 1. We see that the interior shape is a parallelogram as the opposite sides are parallel. This means that this angle is 35 degrees as well. Now, angles on a straight line equal 180, which means 35 plus angle 2 equals 180, giving us 145 as the measure for angle 2, option D. There are many other ways to solve this question. You can use whichever you prefer. Question 4 basically states that 16 plus 4x equals 14 plus 10. So 16 plus 4x equals 24. And 4x equals 8. We need to find the value of 8x, which will just be double that of 4x. So our answer is option C, or 16. Question 5 is about the relationship between two variables. A strong association means that the points are closer to one another, and negative means that as one variable increases, the other decreases, or a negative slope. So the answer is D. Question 6 is regarding unit conversion. We need to find out how many milligrams are there in 2 decagrams. First, we convert decagrams to grams, and then grams to milligrams. This way, our units cancel out, giving the answer 20000, option D. In question 7, we look for the number of installations shown on the graph. We add all the heights of the bars to get the total as 27.5. This means that 27.5 on the graph is supposed to show the actual number 27500, which gives us a relation of 1,000, option C. Question 8. For what value of n is this expression 0? n minus 1 is in the absolute value sign, hence it is always greater than or equal to 0, never negative. And if we add 1 to something 0 or positive, it is always positive. And so our answer is never 0. Therefore, option D. Question 9 is just general rearranging of the given equation, making t the subject. That gives the answer option A. In question 10, we need to find t given A equals 1,000. We plug it into our equation to get it as negative 48.1, which is closest to option B. We rearrange the inequality given in question 11, which gives negative x greater than or equal to 2. Multiply with negative on both sides. This flips the inequality sign, so x is less than or equal to negative 2. Negative 1 is not a solution, so the answer is A. For question 12, we find the mean first, which is given by multiplying the height of the column with the number underneath it, adding all the values, and then dividing by the total number, which is given as 12. The mean comes out to be 6.08, which is closest to option C. In question 13, we have the total survey respondents as 310, and we need to find which category from the 4 options given amounts to 19% of total. So we take each category, divide it by the total, and multiply by 100. This gives C as the answer. In question 14, we are removing the highest value, 24, from the table and are asked what changes the most. Mean and median are measures of central tendencies, and so they do not change much by the removal of just one value. Range is the difference between the largest and lowest value and changes the most, as it changes from 16 to 8. So answer C. For question 15, we are asked what the c-intercept means. Since time is 0 at that point, it will be the initial cost, option A, moving on to 16. We know the y-intercept is 5. We can find the slope, which is the change in y over change in x, to be 3. And using the slope-intercept form, we get the equation y equals 3x plus 5. Here, c is on the y-axis and h on the x-axis. So answer C. Question 17 simply asks for the value of x when the function is at a minimum. That comes out to be -3, option B. In question 18, we plug in the given solution of 0, 0 in both equations. This gives us a greater than 0 and b less than 0, which means a is positive and b is negative. Hence, a must be greater than b, so option A. For question 19, let's denote the number of salads as S and the number of drinks as D. We have a total of 209, so S plus D equals 209. And the other equation will be for price. A salad costs 6.5 and a drink costs 2, so 6.5 S plus 2 D equals 836.5. We can solve this using elimination. Multiply the first equation by 2, and then subtract the equations. This gives -4.5s equals -418.5. Dividing both sides by -4.5 gives us s equals 93. Option B. For question 20, let's say the original price is x. The discount is 20% of that, so 0.2x. Therefore, the discounted price is 0.8x. Tax is 8% of the discounted price. And P, the price paid, will be the discounted price plus tax, yielding this expression. Rearranging the expression to make x the subject, we get the answer option D. In question 21, the total we are looking at is the number of people that recalled at least one dream. So 164. Then we need to find out how many of these were from group Y. So 11 plus 68 equals 79. Now the probability that we are looking for is 79 over 164, option C. For questions 22 and 23, we need to remember that these values are in thousands of dollars. So, to find the change in budget between 2008 and 2010 for agriculture, we subtract both values and divide by 2, since the time span is 2 years. This gives us approximately 65 million, answer B. For 23, we find the ratio for the HR's 2007 to 2010 budget. That comes out to be 0.684. Then we test all options. We set the fractions up. By looking, we can guess that A and B options look closer to what we're looking for, and we find B is the closest. In question 24, we find the equation of the circle using this general form. We don't have the value for radius, so we need to find that first. It can be found by finding the distance between the centre and end point. We use the given formula and plug in values, and that gives root 25/9. We plug that back into the equation of circle and get answer A. Question 25 asks for when the ball is back at the ground, so we input h equals 0 and solve for t. We can factor one of the t out. This gives us two answers, 0 and 5. 0 is the starting point, and it is back by 5 seconds, so answer D. For question 26, we know that A has 20% more pairs than B. We also know that A has 144 pairs. Solving this, we get 120 pairs for B, option B. The diagram here is for reference for question 27. For this question, we look at the table and the answer and guess an average number of earthworms for each small square. We can guess that to be 150. Since we have 100 small squares, we multiply 150 with 100, which gives us the total estimate, which is 15,000, option C. For question 28, we sketch both lines. The white line shows 2x plus 1, and the blue shows half x minus 1. The inequality for both is a greater sign, so we shade the region above both lines. This shows that there is no solution in quadrant 4, option C. Question 29 is mainly done by eliminating the wrong answers. If a polynomial has a value of 0 at a value of x, then it is a factor. So the first three answers can be ruled out. And answer D is correct also because dividing by x minus 3 gives negative 2, as given in the question. In question 30, we simply factorize the quadratic equation to get answer A. Question 31 can have multiple answers. Wyatt husks between 12 and 18 ears of corn per hour, so we can divide 72 by any value in that range. If we divide by 12, that gives 6, which is one of the possible answers. For question 32, we have a limit of £6,000. The driver and truck weigh 4,500, so we have a limit of 1,500 remaining for the boxes. Each box weighs 14, so 14x should be less than 1,500. Simplifying it, x should be less than 1,500 over 14, or 107.14. Therefore, the max value is 107. Time for question 33. In 2008, the amount sold was 100, and in 2011 it was 160. In case of ratios like this, we don't need to consider the unit as it will just cancel out. 100 over 160 gives 5 over 8. Question 34 asks for the number of half-hour intervals in 48 hours. So simply dividing 48 by 0.5 gives 96 as the answer. In question 35, we are given a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is pi times r squared times height, which equals 72 pi here. Solving this gives r equals 3. Diameter is double the radius, so the answer is 6. Moving on to question 36. A fraction is undefined when the denominator equals 0, so we equate the denominator to 0. We expand it and simplify. This gives a quadratic equation, which can be factorized to give x minus 3 whole squared. This is 0 when x is 3, and that is our answer. For question 37, x represents the interest added to the original value. So, it will be 1 plus 2% or 1 plus 2 over 100, which gives 1.02. In question 38, for Taishan, we have the interest 2.5% on the original, so 1.025. Putting this into the given equation gives 128.01. Now, we find the same for Jessica. It comes out to be 121.90. For the difference, we subtract both to get the answer, $6.11.